Congruence. I'd like you to all follow along with me, okay? That was part one of congruence, right? So, part one, ready? Okay. Feeling different?
Yep.
No. Ignore it all. Alright, so probably I'm not going to teach you anything you don't already know tonight about being sexy. Right? Everyone was born feeling authentic, I imagine? Yeah? Okay. So, no? Maybe by the end of tonight. So, feeling sexy is intimately tied to being yourself, being authentic. Authentic is another way of being congruent. Tools of congruence, you already know 3, but it should be a pretty seamless evening. Okay, so let's try that again. Breath, movement, and sound. You'll hear me say this a lot, breath, movement, and sound. And instead of saying somatic sexual repatterning, which is the work that I do, I'll just say SSR. Okay? So, breath, movement, and sound. Fine is, that kind of white lie that we tell people often when they ask us how we are, how we're doing. We're doing fine. Incidentally, the Latin for fine is finished, right? So that might be a more appropriate response when asked, how are you? Not finished, That's pretty bad handwriting, isn't it? Gosh. It says fine, trust me. This is brand new. We're going to work on being more congruent with our answers, right? So when people ask us how we're feeling, we'll actually know. We won't be pretending to feel fine. Now, fine is a great word also because it's what you pay, right? It's the fee you pay for something you've done wrong. What are some of the things that you can imagine might be the fee that you're paying and have been paying your whole lives for being fine, being incongruent, being inauthentic, not being true to how you're feeling, to how you're showing up? What do you think happens over a lifetime or even a year of feeling this way? What might happen to your sense of self?
Happy, frustrated,
Numb.
muted,
Right? Frustrated, numb, muted.
diminished,
Say again?
bored,
Boring.
Dull.
Uh-huh.
Unseen.
Unseen, yes.
a bit deadened,
Deadened.
resentful,
Resentful.
Resentful. Uh-huh. And who do you imagine feels all these things? You do, right?
yeah.
Right, you're all carrying around whatever you identify with on here. Maybe you're feeling stuck, disconnected, insincere, resentful, deadened, unseen, boring. Maybe you're feeling all those things, or maybe just one. The more incongruent I am, the more I love myself. Yes or no? No. Good. Good job. What? The more I like myself. The more incongruent I am, the more I like myself. No. Right. 2 stops. The more incongruent I am, the more compromises I make.
Yes.
And lastly, the more incongruent I am, the better I feel.
No.
Okay. So maybe it's easy to understand that there's a connection between what you feel and what you do or don't do. Yeah? Does that make sense? Are we here? Does it make sense, the connection between what you feel and do or don't do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's obvious. However, when working with clients, there seems to be a disconnect between how they think that they're showing up in their lives and how they actually are. This becomes rather startling to them because they have this story that they tell themselves that maybe they've been telling themselves for a very, very long time. And the thing about the brain is that it doesn't really know the difference between what you tell it and tell it and tell it and tell it and what's really happening. And how you're really showing up in the world. Right? So you might be telling yourself that you're fine and telling everyone else that you're fine, but we all know that's not true. Right? We just learned that. So if you're telling yourself that you're fine and you're believing that you're fine, well, we know how we feel, right? We know what comes up. Ever since I was a baby, I've been doing this. And for years, my mom would say, "Oh, I remember when you were a baby and you used to take the edge of your blanket and you play with the edge of your thumb like that." No. But every year when she would catch me doing it, visiting, she'd say, "Oh, remember when you were..." No, but I would find myself on my own just kind of sitting like this. So after 40 plus years, I decided, hey, why not work this out? So earlier this year, while waiting on an appointment, I Googled it. Thumb in between pointer and middle finger, mudra. Being a yoga teacher, I knew what a mudra was. So, anyone guess what this means? What? What does it look like? It looks like a female?
Vagina.
Oh, this looks like a vulva. Is this the clitoris?
Yeah.
It's a lot of pleasure. No guesses? Well, it's called Kapitha Mudra. And I had this, I was kind of slack-jawed and astonished. It just came right up on my phone and said Kapitha Mudra, mudra for sexual healing. Huh. What? So, I was a little bit taken aback and shocked, and then a gentle smile grew on my lips with gratitude for, the source that got me to where I am right now. So congruence is something that we can master how much of it we use, right? That's where the art of being congruent and being sexy comes in is, when you feel safe, you can be like a child and throw a tantrum, just kind of wailing and crying and snot coming out of your nose and red face. But you probably can't do that in front of your boss. Right? Your partner might not be too keen on that either. But when you come for a session with me, you can let out whatever you've been holding on to since day one. It gives you an experience of what it feels like to be fully self-expressed, fully seen, fully felt and heard, fully congruent. Now when you come back out into your life outside of my office, then you find through practice and experience how to use those tools in a way that still serve you so that you're being true to yourself, but also allow you to feel safe. I mean, you just said it all, really. But being yourself, what is that? Accepting who you are. Yeah. What about shoes? Shoot, did I get a yes on shoes? Can shoes be sexy? We're getting so deep here. Let's be real, too. What's that? Birth control shoes? The sexy secret is one of the things that, or many, that you do that help you to feel sexy. Right? We all know what sexy is, right? So how do we feel like we can be sexy? Do we feel safe enough to be? The second tool of congruence, which is sound, right? Making noise, right? This is arguably the greatest challenge that people who come to see me have. In part one, during the pain piece, they feel like self-conscious and that it's silly and that it probably doesn't make a difference. And to that, I say, has anyone ever felt the power of a baby crying? Yeah. How about on a 6-hour flight? Right. So sound is huge, but for some reason, we can be pretty small with it. And in part 2, the pleasure piece, in addition to having trouble expressing, how good you might be feeling with a moan or a groan or a sigh or whatever wants to come out of your mouth, we don't know how to ask for what we want. Oftentimes we don't know what we want, which is kind of surprising because we think we do. We know that we're not getting what we want, but that's not the same as knowing what we want. So we can't just put the blame on the external when we don't know what it is ourselves. And we certainly don't know how to ask for it or to show up in a congruent way to get it. Wild jungle here? How do you get that around here? Jungles nearby? Well, that's because you haven't tried the Argent Parfait. You lap dance your chair? Like the empty chair? And you set it to full cool and blow dry your body. And when you blow dry your backside with that thing, oh, I can't. I'm not joking. Get yourself a Dyson. It's really, really nice.